Hmm. See, I knew it was a lie. Now we're live. What's up, guys? YouTube was telling me there's a bad connection, and I've busted out all kinds of tools since I had some tech issues. And as soon as I go live, don't worry about the preview or anything. Like, that's supposed to help. I guess when you actually go live, YouTube changes its mind. It says, no, your connection's okay. So what's going on, everyone? So we're here to talk about rides in ReVellion. This is going to be a pretty short stream. I mainly wanted to talk about their newer stuff. That's the ambitious comeback that I'm referring to. Let me just grab the link real quick and throw this one on Facebook. Just make sure it gets out there a little bit. I was looking back and I realized that these last two releases they came out in August, so I've been just been meaning to do just one quick short stream with a quick commentary on it. Yeah, okay, for 4 or 5 months. Oh, great. So maybe this is just a Christmas gift to myself, but hopefully there's some Rides and ReVellion's fans in the chat, or there's some songs you guys like. They're very talented band, I would say, for being so young. I guess they're not brand new for sure anymore, but they're very, what's the word? They're very aesthetic, just aesthetic with spaces in between, like how you see on Twitter. They have a very shiny aesthetic at that. They are one of V-Star Productions fans as well. You know what? Actually, let me check the stream too, just to make sure. All the visuals are coming through okay. Yeah. Okay, it looks like. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, yep. YouTube's lying through their teeth to me. I need to pull up my personal chat box so I can see what the chat's saying. I saw y'all are saying things. But I personally, I've really enjoyed them from the very first single. I was hooked on their first single, and I think I still think they're going to do just fine as a band. I think they're, at the very least, they're going to make quality music, and if they don't do fine as a band, there's going to, I will come back on the stream and point at the camera and be like, you fucked up. No, I'm just kidding. But they do a really cool blend for anyone who's not familiar of, basically it's almost like, and this is really more using their words than mine, because they referred to both of these influences really heavily in the interview that we had with them. It's kind of like X Japan meets 2012 Division era Gazette, like the dubstep Gazette. They actually told us that they're very influenced by X Japan and very influenced by that era of the Gazette, which made me very happy because, in my opinion, that's the most criminally overlooked area of the Gazette. But so as a result, it's like a digital symphonic rock music, and replace most of the classical instruments with electronic music. But the format is very similar. It's still the same. Like, the songs are structured like symphonic rock music, so there's a big focus on elegance and complexity. What would be the phrase? musical complexity of like multiple instruments, except a lot of those instruments have been converted to varying layers of electronic music. So it's a very heavenly sound, but it's a very, it's a very modern sound at the same time. Their songs are very catchy, very melodic, and it earned them a lot of fans really fast when they came over here for the first time and performed. So yeah, there we are. Let's see. Oh, good. I grabbed the wrong link. That's always fun. But, okay, got the right link. There it is in the chat. Aesthetic. Or aesthetic. There's my South turning aesthetic into aesthetic. Young, I wonder how old they are. Oh, they were young when they came to DC. They were all early 20s, I think, if that. All right, everything seems to be good for chat. YouTube very sketchy for you these days. Oh, don't even get me started. I think it's don't even get me started. Yeah, they are sketchy in every way. But he says as he uses their platform. Dead aesthetic. Yeah, exactly. So they had their first full album, I believe it was called The Light, and I just saw in chat really enjoyed The Light. A few people did in there, and I listened to that when it came out. I thought it was a great exclamation mark on the first leg of their career overall. There were some throwbacks in there. I believe some of those singles were some of those songs in there were some very cherished live only songs that made it in there. I'm not sure if they had been released prior to that, but it was a lot of it was peak Rides in ReVellion 1.0, and I guess 2.0 starts now because. Like I said earlier in the year, they put out two new mini albums. Definitely piqued my interest. Piqued Winona's interest. Piqued quite a few people's interest because they were two mini albums and they were titled Fragment and Artery. And Fragment and Artery are the two names of hold on. Vein and Artery. Sorry. And Vein and Artery are the two are the names of the two quote unquote fragments of the Gazette's Division album in its limited edition form. The regular edition's like I think 12 tracks, 13 tracks, no, maybe 11 tracks or something like that. The limited edition, they took it and split it into two, and they put all of the wild, crazy, heavy experimental stuff on one, and they put all of the melodic stuff on the other. And it was a cool concept at the time, but that kind of a throwback, when kind of the information like what I just told to you, is it's very eyebrow raising and pretty cool. Was very curious and to see what it would sound like, and so yeah. Was anyone able to listen to the two new mini albums when they came out. It's they are now available on Spotify. Um, let me pull up the track list here. So far, I prefer Artery, says Genevieve. Let's see. Let me see if I can share. Well, no, not necessarily. Yeah, I would like to see these two get promoted a bit more, and just kind of get it out there to more. Maybe I'll put the link to their Spotify in the description for anyone who stumbles across this stream in the future, just so people can listen to it, maybe comment on it, or like listen to the music and comment on it and whatnot. But because I think it's a good first step, both of them. I'm just I just would want to hear how other fans that are maybe more into the exact kind of music that Rides and Rebellion makes would feel about it, or not the exact, like the more generalized version, because Rides and Rebellion's music follows it's very heavenly and interesting with experimentation, and they use electronic music in really cool ways, which is why I like it. But I think the reason their videos are like their PVs, for example, have gotten quite popular on YouTube here. I think it's because of the song format they use. They are just so good at it, and it is that kind of anime opening style of song, but it's like it's their first of all, it's like it's their own take on it, in that they're all slower for the most part. They use a more slow, steady, waltzing pace, to a degree, and that kind of emphasizes the symphonic part of the symphonic rock, but I mean, I would say it's a moderate pace, but it's always very consistently there. It's not like you'll turn around one song and they'll be like doing like a metalcore rendition or something like that, and then another one it's like a ballad. They're all kind of the very similar tempo, and then the choruses, where it's like the catchy chorus and everything, that is their absolute strong suit, and they do like this romanticized version of it where it's just like you're just really looking forward to the chorus. And it's really nice. It's really I don't know if you would say it's basically soothing. It was soothing watching live. I mean, it's not like it's soft music or anything. It's just very enchanting. Enchanting's a better word, I think. I thought it was interesting that most of the music, I would say in large part, is still following that formula. It wasn't some kind of a wild experimentation, or to like how the Division was for the Gazette. It's not something where it's like, is this the same band anymore, or like anything like that. There's no discussion to be had on that. It's like, if you're a Rides fan, it's Rides and Rebellion music, but it's definitely something's evolved. I was gonna say something's changed, but I think something's like evolved a bit more. I'm having trouble putting my finger on it, but what I want to say it is that I think they're gradually like sneaking in more and more variety, but into like the exact same styles and structures that they've been using, but just more variety in maybe their instrumentation, including like the backing sounds that they use and the backing instruments that they pull from, whether it's electronic or otherwise. And it's like it's just like a subtle stepping up of that, and then at the same time, the mixing seems to have been improved. So it's almost like you didn't notice, but you feel like you're listening to something more substantive. Substantive? Yeah, I can talk today. Compared to like if you, I guess, went back all the way to like say their first single Chain, which I was hooked on because it was like it had a really cool hook, and then it had a really catchy romantic kind of chorus, like I said. But like, for example, it was using just straight dubstep, like one kind of dubstep squeal, melody being used, and then like chugging on the guitar. But if you go from that to this, you get the same vibe all the way through. Substantial Jeff. No, I'm saying substantive. Substantive. I just can't say it. But yeah, so I feel like it was smart to release it in 2 mini albums though, because I feel like even though they've done that, and it seems like they're really ratcheting up, like I guess it's like they're expanding, like it feels like they've just like expanded just exactly how far they want to take this formula. It's like it's like they've worked on it to the point where it's like they've made a bunch of really small tweaks and improvements that like so each song just, it feels like there's just more structure to it, like there's more and it's not like something I can point to and specifically, which makes me think that it's on the composure end and on the the production end, because that's usually like the most underrated place traditionally of like the most underrated area of like the song making process from what I've seen. Like everyone hears the guitar solo, so if the guitarist does a really good guitar solo, like you're going to know. But and everyone's going to talk about it. But like if someone does an amazing job producing a track, you'll know because you'll be like, the song's really good, but you won't know to say, wow, they, whoever produced this, give them an award, that kind of thing, unless you've listened to like a lot of it over and over and stuff like that. But I think it was smart because that song over and over, that it is a similar formula that they are using. It's their own brand, their own sound, and yeah, sure, Genevieve, you can post a link in chat. They actually explain why they did the 2 mini albums. Yeah, I'm sure they had their reasons. I was saying, as a listener though, I would say, yeah, and I'll look it up if you post it in there. But yeah, I would say as like a listener, I kind of appreciated it being broken up because I could see like a general theme from both of them at least. It's not super super distinct, but like it's not like how like. Compared to like the Gazettes, for example, the Gazette clearly did it for like if they're it's like if you're a fan but you're a fan of only one is like how you would listen to that. Their limited edition, but this isn't like, oh, this is one side of Rise and Rebellion and this is the other side. It's all the songs are very obviously Ride's songs, and they're all very subtle, so you just gotta listen to it all. Which is good, because that means I think more people are going to buy them. So, But yeah, I'm still going through it. I'm still trying to decide. Uh, I think a downside of this is there's not really one track that stands out to me too much more than the others. Um, Off the top of my head, I did enjoy like Anoxia. I thought was good, and from Artery, and um, yeah, I don't know. I would have to listen to it a few more times to like be just to really pick them out. I just know I enjoyed listening to them as complete packages. It was just like drifting through, a nice set of songs that are all kind of in a similar vein, but a lot of different things going on. So I think I guess the fact that I'm like kind of a little stumped as to how to like exactly describe it in this sense, kind of, that's to their credit. I can't just be like, because I used to be able to just be like, oh man, it's the dubstep and the wub wubs and the symphonics and and the vibrato, and you put them together and it's like this, and also it's good and I like it, and then I was done for the day. But their music's evolved, or their music's matured, so good on them for that. I definitely am just planning on listening to it a lot more, because it's got me, it's got me curious what the hell it is, because I like to know this stuff for, I'll say it's for VKH, but really, so that I can better explain music, and I guess it's the side effect, but really I'm just, I don't know, I like diving in and unnecessarily analyzing stuff, I suppose. um, One of these days we're gonna be in an interview, and a band member's just gonna be like, "Dude, just enjoy the music." um, you know, I'm just kidding though. Let's see, what's chat saying? The stream looks like it's holding up pretty okay. That's good. Um, it's in a similar vein, you say. Ha ha ha. Oh, Delta. Um, let's see. Do you think they will come back in America? Um, I think it's gonna be a little while. Um, because Lori's come on here a few times to talk about Rides in Rebellion. Lori from V Star. She's been on a few of our streams in the past. You probably want to look at those and listen to what she says, because she works very closely with them, and she has a good idea of where they're at, and she kind of explained some of that, especially in the most recent one. Um, but basically, they kind of had to stop focusing abroad so that they could focus more on their presence locally. For those of you who don't remember, like they started out very overseas facing, which was really cool. Like their PVs were all subtitled, and they had English Twitter, and everything like that, and they got quite popular. And then they came over here and performed, and people drove out to the convention to see them perform, like from very far away. There were people in DC, and we were there covering it, and I think there were people there from Michigan. So they gained some hardcore fans very fast. It's the real throwback sound of the like the ex Japan side of the throwback sound, of the sound that they have, like is like really just such a throwback to like that more romantic, like powerful stage stealing kind of personality and feeling of like some of the older music, I suppose. So and then the look that they have is almost like a modern take on some of that. They do look like there's some sort of symphonic set of artists from the future a lot of times. You know, but I would say, I mean, last I checked, that last we checked in, that's really what she was. That's really what they were doing. That's what she had said they were doing, and so that's why you didn't hear from them for a little while. I think this is the beginning of their push as in their next leg as a band. You can kind of notice from like their newer, like just from these two on their own, it's more cohesive than, you know, say The Light, which was kind of just like prior to that they'd just been putting out singles. So that and The Light was kind of like, you know, used a lot from the past as well. And it came together quite well, but it came together like how a set list would come together, and these came together like how I would expect a mini album or an EP to come together. Like they flow really well. So I what I'm getting at is that I think they're still kind of honing their craft a little bit, and it's best for them to do that in Japan anyways, at, you know, and doing lives in Japan. Plus you need to be able to grow in the scene at home. If you're popular with you know, like even if you're popular with like 500,000 people, if they're scattered all over the world, it's you know, it's difficult. It's not as good as being popular with like 100,000 people in your local area. So I think they wanted to make sure they got their sound right and they got their base audience right, is kind of the general impression I was getting. So it might be a little while. I don't know if it would happen in 2019. But they did said they intend on reaching back out very soon. So you might see more like a gradual increase in social media presence, as well as English social media, maybe a bit more. And then like when you see that, you guys know what to do as fans, right? Lauren and Rhubarb have been on here in the past. You reply to them, you engage them, you let them know that, and you use your voice to let them know that you exist and you like their stuff and you want to see them over here. So and then after that, they'll, you know, it'll happen more and more. I don't think it'll take too long. I'm just saying, like, I'm not sure I would place a bet on 2019 personally. So yeah. Let's see. I would have if I knew them at the time. I like to see them the next time they do come back. Yeah. Yeah, guys, they were really good live. I was we weren't sure what to think because they were such a young band. I was sold on them at the time when they came out, by the way, like already completely sold. Like, so I wasn't unsure about their music. It's just, I was like, these guys have had 3 amazing singles and they're here already. You know, can they pull it off? It's not unheard of, but it's pretty uncommon, you know, for such a new band to show up. And apparently that was like, I think Lori said it on stream that because she works with them so closely, that was like, as far as she was concerned, that was the best show they've ever played. Like they were so excited to perform in the States. They ended up transferring all that energy into what was apparently the best show they'd ever played. So they knocked it out of the park, and I had a blast. I thought they were fantastic live. Like the personality is like, it's palpable coming off of them. It's at least the one we went to, the best one. So yeah, I would want them back as well. But I also want them to stay together. So if they need to build their own core audience base and make sure their name's getting out there in Japan, and then at the same time, work on their music and make sure that everything's coming together, and improving, then yeah, I'm fine with them. They already made their splash out here, and they're obviously making progress, because I think this was a good. It was a good first set of mini albums. That was the other thing, is this is like their first time doing this particular kind of release. They've been a singles band for the most part. So, I thought it was like a solid first step. It's very cohesive. It's not like, there's nothing that's like really making my head turn from these. But I already like them. I already like the kind of music that they make. And so it's kind of obvious they were just trying to like flesh out their style and sound, as opposed to like fire off a smash hit single and get more attention that way. So I like to see that from an artist, because it means they're focused on making the art, in addition to making sure they can live off the art. So all right, guys, that's about all I had. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now. The next one is going to be in 10 minutes. Now that we've got this working. I may make a few quick adjustments, but we'll start right at 8, and it's the Poidal Power Hour. So I will be right back and see you guys soon. The link to the next stream, along with the other streams for today, is in the description, along with the schedule for the rest of our holiday streams. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Peace out.